A few years ago, we built an integration of sorts into FinaMetrica that basically allows all of our analytics users to get access to their growth and defensive labels on any investment solution, including all the portfolios you build on analytics yourself. And it's available on 3 different features within analytics, which we'll go through on this short video. But ultimately, it allows you to dumb down the conversations you're having around asset allocation with potential clients, prospects, etc., rather than having to talk about equities, bonds, international developed equities, emerging markets, gilts, yada yada. You can just talk in terms of growth and defensive. Now, FinaMetrica would say that growth is equities and property, and defensive would be bonds and cash. So you can talk to a client and say, well, look, the investment solution we're going ahead with is 80% growth assets, 20% defensive assets. As I said, it just allows you to dumb down that conversation rather than getting to the weeds of a high level of granularity on an asset allocation. Now, the 3 features you'll find this FinaMetrica labels on, first off is filtering. So under fund filters at the top, if you click on new, it should load up this little page here. And if you scroll right the way down, you've got 3 tabs: performance characteristics, actually 4 now, ESG fact sheet characteristics, and the 4th one, investment, is FinaMetrica. So I can say, look, I'm looking maybe for a multi-asset fund that has growth assets of over 80%, or investing growth assets over 80%. So flip that to growth, 80% and plus, and it filters down on that basis. The second place you'll find it is when you're building tables. So you might want to filter on that, but you might want to at least show that data when you're looking at data tables. So on the right hand side, under the reports tab, under custom table, when you go and build your own tables, this little page will load up. And very similar to filtering, on the left hand side, there's all of the fields of our database, and you'll find your own FinaMetrica breakdown option. And again, it's the same idea. Okay, well, on my data table, when I physically look at the data, I want to see what the growth and defensive split is of any investment solution I put onto that table. So again, just add growth, defensive, add them over. The reason you've got unclassified is we might not have the asset allocation of that fund. Obviously, this is a tie-up between us and FinaMetrica, so if we have the asset allocation, then they can just simply convert that into a growth and defensive split. If it comes up as unclassified your side, it just simply means that provider doesn't provide us with any asset allocation, hence FinaMetrica can't discern whether that's growth or defensive. What happens then once you've added that into a table, once you run the tables, I've got a couple of examples here. This is just at fund level. I've used a Vanguard LifeStrat 80, 60, 40, because obviously that's based on equity content. So lo and behold, when you look over here, FinaMetrica growth and defensive, the growth 100%, unsurprisingly, it's 100% equity, so on and so forth. Slight rounding, but basically 20, 40, 60, and 80. So you can very quickly see at fund level how much growth assets they have invested in, but also you can do that with portfolios. So I've got my own models built into the system, my model 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These could be external MPS models as well that you use outsource. And again, FinaMetrica growth and defensive, so I can very quickly see that the equity stroke bond growth asset content within each one of those models. The last feature this is stitched into is for you to actually be able to visualize that onto a nice little pie chart. So if you go and create your own custom portfolio report over on the right hand side over here, if you click on report builder, that loads up a little build screen which looks like this. And again, like the 2 other features we've just looked at, data on the left, you're building the report on the right hand side, so you're just adding the different pages across, and you'll see just under there you can add the FinaMetrica breakdown report, which is a nice little 1-pager that shows the asset allocation split between growth and defensive, rather than doing kind of a traditional asset allocation page, where you could do both. Yes, I want to show the granularity of what we usually talk about in terms of looking at this, but also I want to mix in FinaMetrica asset allocation as well. The final report, what does that look like? Looks a bit like this. So this is just an example I ran up pretty quickly, but there's my cover page. You've got a load of little, a few little pages there running on underneath showing me the performance of this particular model and all the underlying holdings, etc. As we go down to the bottom, there's my traditional asset allocation that I'll explain to the client, but then again the dumbed down version here, which is just simply showing me the growth and defensive split and where we're deriving those figures from, what's investing in growth, what's investing in defensive, all the underlying holdings underneath. So as I said, that was a tie-up we did a couple of years ago now. You will find, a lot of you will find it may not be enabled on your side, so if you need access or you'd like access to that feature and start playing around with it, feel free on the left-hand side just to contact us, our help desk. Let them know that you're interested in accessing the FinaMetrica module, for want of a better word, and they'll enable it for you and provide access.